Welcome to Stairway to English. Today, you'll listen to a powerful story about empathy, the skill that can change how you see people and how they see you. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, and leave a comment to share your thoughts after the story. Now, relax, listen carefully, and let's explore the power of empathy. Episode 1: The Heart That Understands. Empathy is one of the most beautiful human abilities. It means understanding how another person feels, even when you are not in their situation. When you feel empathy, you open your heart to others. You don't just listen with your ears, you listen with your heart. In today's world, people often talk more and listen less. We live fast, and we forget that every person has a story behind their face. Empathy helps us slow down and see the world through someone else's eyes. It is not only about being kind, it is about being truly connected to others. Think about the last time someone listened to you carefully. How did it feel? You probably felt safe, respected, and understood. That is the power of empathy. When we give it to others, we make them feel valued. When others give it to us, we feel less alone. Empathy can change relationships, families, and even societies. Many people confuse empathy with sympathy. Sympathy means you feel sorry for someone. Empathy means you try to feel what they feel. For example, when your friend loses a job, you don't just say, "I'm sorry." You imagine their fear and sadness. You stand beside them, not above them. This kind of connection builds trust. It helps people open up. When people feel understood, they don't need to hide their pain or fears. That's why empathy is not weakness, it's emotional intelligence. It helps us build bridges where others build walls. In friendships, empathy means listening instead of judging. It means saying, "I understand why you feel that way." In families, it helps people forgive faster and love deeper. In workplaces, empathy creates better teamwork and communication. Even leaders who show empathy are more respected and successful. But empathy is not always easy. Sometimes we are too busy or too tired to care. Other times we protect ourselves because we fear getting hurt. Yet the truth is, empathy gives more strength than pain. When we understand others, we understand ourselves better too. To develop empathy, start small. When someone speaks, don't think about what to reply. Just listen. Look at their eyes. Notice their tone and body language. Try to imagine their world for a few moments. This small practice can completely change how you connect with people. The most successful people in life are not only smart, they are emotionally aware. They know that human hearts respond more to understanding than to logic. You can win an argument with logic, but you win a soul with empathy. In this series, you will learn how empathy can make your relationships stronger, your communication deeper, and your heart lighter. You will also discover how empathy can make you more successful, not just in your career, but in your personal growth too. So, let's begin this journey together. Because the world doesn't only need more intelligence, it needs more understanding hearts. Episode 2: Seeing the World Through Their Eyes. Empathy begins when you try to see the world through another person's eyes. It is about leaving your own point of view for a moment and stepping into someone else's shoes. This simple act can change everything: how you talk, how you listen, and how you react. Most people listen only to reply, not to understand. But when you practice empathy, you listen differently. You stop thinking about your own thoughts and pay attention to the other person's feelings. You notice their voice, their words, their silence. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. Imagine your friend tells you they are tired and feel unmotivated. Without empathy, you might quickly say, "You just need to work harder." But with empathy, you look deeper. Maybe they are stressed. Maybe they feel hopeless. Maybe they just need someone to understand them instead of giving advice. This is what true empathy does. It helps you feel what the other person feels before you speak. Seeing the world through someone else's eyes doesn't mean you must agree with everything they say. It simply means you try to understand why they feel that way. It means asking yourself, what would I feel if I were them? This small question can change how you treat people forever. Empathy also teaches patience. When people are angry, rude, or distant, it's easy to judge them. But what if you looked beyond their behavior? Maybe the rude cashier at the store had a terrible day. Maybe the angry driver on the road is going through a family problem. When you see the hidden story, you stop reacting and start understanding. Many conflicts in the world come from people not trying to understand each other. Families break apart, friendships end, and nations fight because people want to be right instead of being kind. But empathy is stronger than pride. It turns arguments into conversations and enemies into friends. Empathy also helps in professional life. Imagine you are a teacher, a doctor, or a manager. If you understand your students, patients, or workers better, you can help them grow. You can motivate them, heal them, or inspire them, because you see who they really are, not just what they do. Sometimes empathy means just being there. You don't always need perfect words. A simple, "I understand," or even a quiet hug can do more than a long speech. People remember how you made them feel more than what you said. There is also self-empathy, the ability to understand your own feelings. You can't truly understand others if you ignore your own emotions. When you are kind to yourself, it becomes easier to be kind to others. Recognize your pain, your mistakes, and your fears. Accept them with compassion. That's where empathy begins, inside your own heart. To practice empathy today, try this exercise. When someone talks to you, pause before replying. Ask yourself, what are they really feeling right now? Even if you guess wrong, the effort itself makes you a better listener and a better human. Empathy is not just a skill, it's a way of living. It helps you connect with the world in a deeper way. It helps you create peace where there was tension and warmth where there was coldness. In the next episode, we will explore how empathy can transform your relationships, how it can make love stronger, friendships deeper, and communication clearer. Because when you truly understand others, you build unbreakable connections. Episode 3: How Empathy Strengthens Relationships. Empathy is the secret language of strong relationships. It's what turns simple communication into true connection. When you understand and care about how another person feels, trust begins to grow. Whether it's between friends, family, or partners, Empathy creates emotional safety, a place where people feel seen, heard, and accepted. Think about a time when you felt truly understood by someone. Maybe they didn't solve your problem, but they listened. They didn't judge or interrupt. They just let you speak. That moment probably made you feel lighter, calmer, and closer to them. That's the power of empathy. It builds invisible bridges between hearts. In any relationship, misunderstandings happen. Words are misheard, emotions get hurt, and walls begin to form. But empathy can break down those walls. When you stop defending yourself and start trying to understand the other person, you open the door to healing. Instead of saying, "You don't understand me," try saying, "Help me understand how you feel." This small change can turn arguments into moments of growth. Empathy also teaches you to listen beyond words. People often say, "I'm fine," when they're not fine. An empathetic person hears the emotion behind those words. They notice the sadness in the voice, the hesitation in the tone, the pain hidden behind a smile. They don't push for answers, they offer comfort. In romantic relationships, empathy keeps love alive. At the beginning, love is often full of excitement and energy, but over time, differences appear. One person might need attention while the other needs space. Without empathy, these differences can cause distance. But when you practice empathy, you learn to care for your partner's emotions, even when they are different from your own. You stop trying to win and start trying to understand. The same goes for friendships. A true friend doesn't just celebrate your successes, they also feel your pain. When you lose something or face a hard time, an empathetic friend doesn't say, "Don't worry, it's nothing." Instead, they say, "I know it hurts. I'm here with you." That simple presence can be more powerful than any advice. In families, empathy creates harmony. Parents who listen to their children with empathy teach them that their feelings matter. Children who grow up in such homes become better communicators and more compassionate adults. Empathy also helps between generations. When young people try to understand the experiences of their parents or grandparents, respect replaces judgment. In professional relationships, empathy is just as important. Leaders who understand their team's struggles inspire loyalty and motivation. Coworkers who care about each other's challenges build stronger teamwork. Even customers feel the difference when a company treats them with empathy. They trust more, they return more, and they speak positively about the experience. Empathy doesn't mean you always agree. It means you respect the other person's emotions, even when you see things differently. You can say, "I understand why you feel that way," without changing your own opinion. That simple acknowledgement makes others feel valued. However, empathy also needs balance. You must care deeply, but not lose yourself in someone else's emotions. Being empathetic doesn't mean forgetting your own needs. It means sharing feelings, not carrying them all alone. To strengthen your relationships with empathy, start with these small steps. Listen more than you speak. Don't rush to fix. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Show with actions. A kind word, a gentle look, or a helping hand shows empathy more than big speeches. Be patient. Emotions take time to heal. Empathy makes relationships real. It adds warmth to your words and depth to your actions. Without it, even love can feel empty. With it, even silence feels full of understanding. In the next episode, we'll explore how empathy can make the world a better place, how a single act of understanding can change communities, workplaces, and even global problems. Because empathy is not just for individuals, it's for humanity. Episode 4: The Empathy Bridge: Building Connections That Last. Empathy is like a bridge that connects two hearts. When you use empathy in your daily life, you build strong and meaningful relationships. People feel understood, accepted, and safe around you. But how can we build these bridges in a world that often feels divided and cold? In this episode, let's explore how empathy can make human connections stronger and more real. When you meet someone, you usually notice their clothes, their voice, or their body language. But empathy asks you to go deeper. It invites you to see what the other person might be feeling inside. Maybe they are nervous, tired, or hiding pain behind a smile. When you start to notice these small signs, you begin to connect with the real person, not just their outside image. This is the first step to building an empathy bridge. Imagine a friend tells you about a problem. Many people will give quick advice or try to change the topic. But an empathetic person listens carefully. You don't need to fix their problem. You just need to show that you care. You can say things like, "That sounds really difficult," or "I can see why you feel that way." These small words show emotional understanding. They make the other person feel less alone. Empathy also requires patience. Sometimes people don't explain their feelings clearly. They might say, "I'm fine," when they are not. If you rush or pressure them, they may close their heart even more. But if you wait and show kindness, they may slowly open up. Real connection takes time, and empathy is the key that opens the door. In workplaces, empathy can change everything. When a manager listens to their team's feelings and challenges, people feel respected. They work better together and trust each other more. A leader with empathy doesn't only focus on results, they focus on people. That creates a positive and loyal environment. It's the same in families. When parents listen to their children with empathy, communication becomes easier and love grows stronger. Empathy can even help when there is conflict. Imagine two people arguing about something important. Each person wants to be heard and understood. Usually they both talk, but nobody listens. But if one person stops and tries to see things from the other side, the situation changes. Saying, "I understand you feel hurt," or "I didn't think about it that way," can calm emotions and create space for peace. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing, it means understanding. To build empathy, practice small daily acts of awareness. When someone in your family seems upset, ask how they're feeling. When you see a stranger struggling, offer help. When you read a story or watch a movie, try to imagine what the characters feel. The more you practice this, the stronger your emotional muscles become. Technology can sometimes make empathy harder. Social media often shows perfect images, but not real emotions. People can forget that behind every screen, there is a real person with hopes, fears, and pain. Empathy helps you remember that. When you send a kind message, comment respectfully, or avoid judging someone online, you keep the empathy bridge alive, even in the digital world. One important part of empathy is also being kind to yourself. If you are too hard on yourself, it becomes difficult to be gentle with others. Accept your own mistakes and feelings. When you understand your own pain, you understand others better. Self-compassion is the foundation for empathy toward others. Empathy doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. It helps you see the truth behind people's actions. A person who is angry might actually be scared. A person who is rude might be hiding sadness. When you see people with this deeper understanding, you stop judging quickly. You respond with calmness and care, not with hate or revenge. Think of empathy as emotional intelligence in action. It's not just about emotions, it's also a skill that improves communication, teamwork, and leadership. People who practice empathy become more successful not because they are manipulative, but because they make others feel valued. Everyone wants to be understood, and empathy gives them that gift. So next time you speak with someone, pause for a moment. Listen not only with your ears, but with your heart. Try to understand what is not said. You might discover something beautiful, a moment of real connection that goes beyond words. Empathy is the language of the heart, and when you speak it, everyone understands you. Episode 5: Living with Empathy, a new way to see the world. Empathy is not only something you use in special moments. It can become a way of life, a mindset that changes how you see the world and how you treat others. When you live with empathy, you stop seeing people as strangers and start seeing them as human beings who share the same hopes, fears, and dreams as you do. In this final episode, we will explore how to make empathy a daily habit and how it can bring peace, kindness, and connection into your life. Living with empathy starts in the morning. When you wake up, try to set an intention. Today, I will try to understand before I judge. This simple thought changes the energy of your day. Maybe someone cuts in front of you in traffic, or a coworker speaks to you rudely. Instead of reacting with anger, pause and ask yourself, what might this person be going through? Maybe they are tired, stressed, or afraid. That question opens your heart and softens your emotions. Empathy in daily life also means listening, truly listening. When you talk to someone, give them your full attention. Don't look at your phone. Don't think about what you will say next. Just listen. Sometimes silence is more powerful than advice. It shows that you care enough to be present. In a world full of noise and distraction, listening is an act of love. You can also show empathy through small actions. Hold the door for someone. Smile at a stranger. Thank the person who cleans your street or serves your food. These moments may seem small, but they can change someone's whole day. When people feel seen and respected, they start to spread that kindness to others. This is how empathy grows, like a ripple in the water that keeps expanding. Empathy can also heal relationships that are broken. If you have had an argument with someone, try to imagine their feelings. Maybe they were hurt or misunderstood. You don't always have to be right. Sometimes it's more important to be understanding. Saying, "I understand how you feel," can rebuild a bridge that anger destroyed. Empathy does not mean you accept bad behavior. It means you choose peace over pride. In your workplace or school, empathy creates teamwork. When you help others succeed, you also grow. When you celebrate someone's success instead of feeling jealous, you create an environment of trust. People who live with empathy often become natural leaders because they make others feel valued. They don't lead by fear, they lead by connection. Empathy is also important in global life. When you read the news, you see people from other countries suffering or struggling. It's easy to say, "That's not my problem." But empathy reminds you that humanity is one family. When a child is hungry in another part of the world, that child is not someone else's problem. Empathy helps you feel their pain and maybe take action, even a small one. Maybe you donate, volunteer, or simply share awareness. Every action matters. But to live with empathy, you must also protect your emotional energy. Empathy does not mean letting people hurt you. It's okay to have boundaries. You can care deeply about others while still saying no when something feels wrong. True empathy is balanced. It comes from strength, not weakness. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself so you can care for others. Empathy can also make you more creative and open-minded. When you try to see things from different points of view, you learn more about the world. You stop living in a small box of your own thoughts. Artists, writers, teachers, and leaders who have empathy create things that touch hearts. Empathy gives your mind depth and your actions meaning. Sometimes empathy is hard. It's not always easy to understand people who think or act very differently from you, but that's where the real power of empathy lies, in the effort. Even if you don't agree, you can still say, "I see you, I hear you." This attitude creates peace and respect in a world full of division. As you continue your journey, remember that empathy is a choice you make every day. It's a decision to be kind instead of cruel, patient instead of angry, understanding instead of judgmental. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Think about the people who have shown you empathy in your life. A teacher who believed in you, a friend who listened, or a stranger who helped when you were lost. Those moments stay in your heart forever. Now, you have the power to give that feeling to others. Empathy is not a weakness. It is the quiet strength that holds humanity together. It is what makes love possible, what builds peace, and what keeps hope alive. When you live with empathy, you don't just make the world better, you make yourself better. So, as we finish this journey, remember, every person you meet is fighting a battle you cannot see. Be kind. Be understanding. Be human. Empathy is the bridge to a better world, and you have the power to build it, one act of kindness at a time.